The door slammed behind him with a finality that echoed down the quiet suburban street in their small Ohio town. Knox Thompson, only 14, stood frozen on the porch clutching a black trash bag that held his entire life. 2 changes of clothes, a worn backpack with schoolbooks, and a single photo of his mother from better days. "Don't ever come back, you disgusting faggot." His father Robert's voice roared from inside the house, the words cutting deeper than any slap. Knox's legs moved on their own, carrying him down the driveway and into the cold November night as tears blurred the streetlights. He had no money, no phone, and no plan, just the crushing weight of his father's rejection after the man had found the private journal where Knox had written about the boy at school who made his heart race. The argument had exploded only an hour earlier. Robert had stormed into Knox's room, waving the notebook, his face twisted in rage. "This is what you are? After everything your mother and I gave you? God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve." Knox had tried to explain that he did not choose this, that the feelings had always been there, hidden behind forced smiles at church youth group and awkward dates with girls his parents pushed on him. But Robert would not listen. His mother Linda had stood in the hallway crying silently but said nothing to stop it. In the end, Robert had shoved the trash bag at Knox and pushed him out the door, telling him he was no longer a son. Knox walked for hours, the plastic bag crinkling with every step. The November wind bit through his thin jacket as he huddled on a park bench downtown. His mind raced with questions. How would he eat? Where would he sleep? Would anyone even miss him? Memories flooded in of family dinners where his father preached about sin and family values. Knox had always felt different, but he never imagined this. The fear mixed with a strange relief. At least the hiding was over, even if the price was everything. Around midnight, a police cruiser slowed nearby. Knox tensed, ready to run, but the officer just asked if he was okay. Too ashamed to explain, Knox mumbled he was fine, and the car moved on. Hunger gnawed at him. He found a half-eaten sandwich in a trash can near the bus station and forced it down. By morning, he was shivering and exhausted. A kind older woman at a coffee shop noticed him and quietly handed him a muffin and a card for the local youth shelter. "They help kids like you," she whispered. At the shelter, Knox met the director, a no-nonsense woman named Carla, who listened without judgment as he told his story in halting words. She got him a bed, a hot meal, and a promise of help with school and social services. But the damage was done. That first night in the shelter, Knox lay awake staring at the ceiling, wondering if he would ever feel safe again. The other boys there shared similar tales of rejection, some worse. One had been beaten, another kicked out at 15. Their stories made Knox realize he was not alone, but the loneliness still clawed at him. He decided then that he would survive. He would go to school, work hard, and never let anyone see how broken he felt inside. The decision came with a cost. Trust became a luxury he could not afford. Over the next weeks, Knox navigated the system. Social workers helped him file for emancipation papers since going home was impossible. He transferred to a new school where no one knew his story and took a part-time job at a grocery store bagging groceries after classes. The work was tiring, but it gave him purpose. Nights were the hardest. Flashbacks of his father's words haunted him. He questioned everything about himself. Was he really disgusting? Had he brought this on himself? The internal battle raged, but he pushed it down, focusing on survival. One evening after a long shift, he sat on the shelter steps and made a promise to himself. He would build a life his father could never take away. Little did he know that promise would lead him to the one person who would challenge everything he believed about love and forgiveness. Months blurred into a routine of survival. Knox turned 15, then 16, while bouncing between the shelter and temporary foster placements that never quite felt like home. School became his battlefield. He studied relentlessly, earning top grades despite the whispers when kids guessed why he never mentioned family. Bullies tested him. Once a group cornered him after gym class, calling him names that echoed his father's. Knox did not fight back with fists. Instead, he walked away head high, but inside the words reopened old wounds. Each insult forced him to confront the shame he carried. He spent hours in the library after school reading about other gay teens who had made it through. Their stories gave him hope but also highlighted how much he had lost. His mother tried to reach out once. A secret text message arrived on a borrowed phone. "I miss you. Your father is still angry, but I pray for you every night." Knox stared at the words for hours. Part of him wanted to reply to beg for a chance to come home. But the memory of that slammed door stopped him. He deleted the message and chose silence. The decision cost him sleepless nights filled with guilt. Was he punishing her too? Or protecting himself? The moral weight pressed on him daily. Family was supposed to be unconditional, yet his had conditions he could never meet. Work at the grocery store taught him resilience. He saved every dollar for clothes and school supplies. The manager, a gruff man named Mr. Hayes, noticed his reliability and gave him more hours. "You got a good head on your shoulders, kid. Keep it up." Those small kindnesses mattered. They reminded Knox that not everyone saw him as broken. Still, the fear of discovery lingered. He never dated, never joined clubs that might expose him. Isolation became his shield. By 17, Knox had aged beyond his years. The boy who once cried on a park bench now carried himself with quiet determination. He volunteered at the shelter, helping newer kids the way Carla had helped him. One afternoon, a new arrival, a quiet 15-year-old named Jamie, shared his own rejection story. Listening to Jamie cry about his parents, Knox felt a surge of protectiveness. He stayed up late talking with the boy, offering the words he wished someone had given him. In that moment, Knox realized helping others eased his own pain. It was a turning point. He decided to pursue social work one day to give back to the community that had saved him. Yet the internal conflict never fully quieted. Late at night, he still wondered if he was living a lie by hiding parts of himself. When a classmate asked why he never brought anyone to school events, Knox brushed it off with a joke. The lie tasted bitter. He knew he was gay. He had accepted that truth in the shelter's quiet hours. But accepting it publicly carried risks. Jobs could disappear, friends could turn away. The price of authenticity seemed too high, so he kept his secret even as it ate at him. One spring evening after a long shift, Knox walked through the park where his journey had begun. The bench was still there. He sat down, remembering the terrified 14-year-old he had been. A sense of pride washed over him. He had survived. But survival was not the same as living. Deep down, he longed for connection, for someone who saw all of him and stayed. That longing would soon lead him to Marcus. Knox turned 18 the summer he started community college on a scholarship for foster youth. The campus felt like a fresh start. He studied psychology, eager to understand the minds that had rejected him and the ones that could heal. In his intro to sociology class, he noticed Marcus Reed immediately. Marcus was 20, a junior who carried himself with easy confidence and a warm smile that lit up the room. During group projects, they were paired together. Their first conversation flowed naturally about family expectations and the pressure to fit in. Marcus shared that his own parents had struggled when he came out at 16 but eventually accepted him. "It took time, but they chose love," Marcus said. Knox listened with envy and hope. Their friendship grew through late study sessions and coffee runs. Marcus never pushed, but Knox felt seen in a way he never had. One weekend, Marcus invited him to a campus LGBTQ Alliance event. Knox hesitated. Going meant stepping out of the shadows he had built for safety. After hours of internal debate, he went. The room full of laughing students felt both terrifying and liberating. Marcus stayed by his side the whole time. That night, as they walked back to the dorms, Marcus asked gently, "Have you ever told anyone?" Knox shook his head. The confession hung between them, heavy but honest. Marcus simply nodded. "When you're ready, I'm here." The turning point came during finals week. Knox was overwhelmed with papers and the constant fear of slipping back into homelessness. Marcus found him studying alone in the library at midnight and brought food. They talked for hours. Knox opened up about the trash bag, the cold nights, and the father who saw him as sin. Tears came unbidden. Marcus listened without pity, then shared his own struggles with self-doubt after coming out. In that vulnerable exchange, something shifted. Knox felt the first spark of real trust. Over the following months, their bond deepened into romance. It started with tentative hand-holding during movies and quiet confessions under the stars. Marcus was patient, never rushing. Their first kiss happened on a bench in the same park where Knox had once slept. The moment was soft and full of promise. For the first time, Knox allowed himself to imagine a future with someone who loved him as he was. But joy came with fear. What if Marcus saw the broken parts and left? What if the world outside their bubble rejected them? Knox wrestled with these thoughts daily. He chose to lean into the relationship anyway, deciding that the risk of love was worth the pain of loneliness. Marcus introduced Knox to his supportive family. The warmth of their dinner table both healed and hurt. Knox watched Marcus's parents tease him affectionately and felt the ache of what he had lost. Still, he made the choice to be present, to accept the kindness offered. The relationship taught him that love could be steady and kind. Yet the past still cast shadows. When Marcus suggested meeting Knox's mother, Knox froze. The decision loomed large. Was he ready to reopen that wound? The relationship with Marcus brought light into Knox's life, but it also forced him to face unresolved pain. They moved in together after Knox's second year of college in a small apartment near campus. Mornings were filled with shared coffee and quiet conversations. Evenings brought study sessions and laughter. Marcus worked part-time at a community center helping LGBTQ youth. His passion inspired Knox, who began volunteering there too. Together they supported kids facing the same rejection Knox had known. The work gave Knox purpose. Each time a young person left the center with resources and hope, Knox felt he was paying forward the second chance he had received. Yet tensions arose. Marcus wanted Knox to consider reconciliation with his family. "Your mom still reaches out. Maybe your dad has changed." Knox resisted. The memory of that slammed door was too raw. Their arguments were never loud, but they carried weight. Knox accused Marcus of not understanding the depth of the betrayal. Marcus pushed back gently, arguing that holding on to anger hurt Knox most. The moral dilemma tore at Knox. Was forgiveness a sign of strength or weakness? Did his father deserve another chance after years of silence? Knox lay awake many nights weighing the options. In the end, he agreed to a cautious meeting with his mother. The reunion at a neutral cafe was emotional. Linda cried when she saw how much Knox had grown. She apologized for not standing up to Robert. "I was scared too," she admitted. They talked for hours. Knox shared pieces of his journey, the shelter, the struggles, and now Marcus. His mother listened with genuine regret. But when Knox asked about his father, the answer was painful. Robert remained firm in his beliefs, though illness had softened some edges. The meeting left Knox conflicted. He felt compassion for his mother, but the old anger toward his father burned brighter. Marcus stood by him through it all. Their love deepened with each challenge. They celebrated small victories like Knox's acceptance into a 4-year university and Marcus's promotion. Yet societal pressures tested them. At Knox's new job in a counseling center, a colleague made subtle homophobic remarks. Knox chose to confront the issue professionally rather than stay silent. The decision cost him a comfortable work environment but earned him respect from allies. Marcus faced his own battles when his extended family questioned their relationship. Each time they chose to face the world together, the bond grew stronger. The internal awakening came gradually. Knox realized he had spent years defining himself by his father's rejection. With Marcus, he learned to define himself by his own choices. He started therapy to process the trauma. The sessions were hard but necessary. He confronted the shame and emerged with greater self-acceptance. The relationship was not perfect. They had moments of doubt and frustration, but they chose to work through them. Love, it turned out, required daily decisions and the willingness to pay the price of vulnerability. Life tested their commitment when Robert's health declined. Linda called in tears, begging Knox to visit. "He asks about you sometimes. The doctors say it could be his last chance." Knox agonized over the decision. Marcus encouraged him to go but left the choice entirely his. After days of sleepless nights, Knox agreed, but on his terms. No expectations of forgiveness. The hospital visit was tense. Robert looked frail in the bed, but his eyes still held judgment. "You've made your choices," he said weakly. Knox felt the old pain surge. He wanted to shout about the years of struggle, the nights he went hungry because of this man. Instead, he spoke calmly about his life, his education, and the man he loved. Robert turned away. The rejection stung fresh. Back home, the confrontation sparked a deeper crisis. Knox questioned everything. Was it right to withhold forgiveness when his father was suffering? Or was protecting his peace more important? Marcus supported him, but their relationship strained under the emotional weight. A betrayal added fuel. A coworker at the counseling center outed Knox to clients in a misguided attempt to warn them. The resulting complaints cost Knox his position. The job loss brought financial stress and renewed doubts about his worth. In that dark period, Knox considered pushing Marcus away to spare him the burden. The decision loomed. Would he run from love when life got hard? Marcus refused to let him retreat. "We face this together or not at all." Their honest conversation became a turning point. Knox chose to fight for the relationship and for his career. He found new work at a nonprofit focused on LGBTQ youth services. The role felt like coming full circle. As he helped other young people navigate family rejection, he processed his own. The experience brought clarity. He realized forgiveness was not about absolving his father, but about freeing himself. Still, he was not ready to offer it fully. The moral gray area left him restless. Society's prejudices continued to challenge them. Public displays of affection drew stares and comments. Each time they chose to hold their heads high, the cost was emotional exhaustion, but the reward was authenticity. Through it all, Marcus remained steady. Their love became a quiet rebellion against the forces that had tried to break Knox. Yet the internal battle raged on. Knox wondered if he could ever fully escape the shadow of that trash bag night. The answer came in small moments of joy and in the decision to keep building a life on his own terms. The climax arrived when Robert took a turn for the worse. Linda called again, this time with urgency. Knox made the drive with Marcus at his side. At the hospital, Robert was weak but lucid. For the first time, he looked at Knox without immediate anger. "I don't understand it," he said, "but I see you've made something of yourself." The words were not an apology, but they cracked the wall between them. Knox felt a mix of relief and resentment. In the hallway afterward, he broke down in Marcus's arms. The embrace reminded him why he had fought so hard. That night, Knox made his choice. He would not force a relationship with his father, but he would offer a measured peace for his mother's sake and his own healing. The decision was not easy. It carried the weight of years of pain and the knowledge that full reconciliation might never happen. Robert passed a few months later. At the funeral, Knox stood with Marcus and his mother. The experience brought closure, though not complete forgiveness. Knox realized some wounds leave scars that shape us for the better. In the years that followed, Knox and Marcus built a life together. Knox became a counselor specializing in family rejection cases. Marcus continued his work at the community center. Their home became a place of safety for friends and chosen family. The journey from that cold night with the trash bag to this place of love and purpose had been long and costly. Knox had paid the price of lost childhood, trust issues, and hard choices. Marcus had stood through every storm. Together they proved that love could heal what prejudice had broken. Knox often thought about the boy he had been, the fear, the shame, and the determination to survive. He had awakened to the truth that his worth was not defined by his father's rejection or society's judgment. It was defined by the choices he made every day to live openly and love deeply. Was it right for Knox to offer even partial peace to the father who had thrown him away, or should some betrayals remain unforgiven forever?